Welcome to SUTV Live, where tonight Sheffield United are back on home soil, looking to get back to winning ways. After being held to a draw at Middlesbrough at the weekend, it's North East neighbours Sunderland who are in town, back in the Championship themselves this season, and undefeated through their opening 3 games. Will the Blades have the cutting edge to burst their promotion bubble? Well, we'll find out shortly. Kick-off here at Bramall Lane is at 8 p.m, and remember to go to sufc.co.uk for all the details. Well, a very good evening. Welcome to Bramall Lane. There's few places quite like it under the lights. A raucous atmosphere expected. The visitors bringing a healthy travelling support themselves as well. And I'm delighted to say that joined in the studio once again, I'm joined by 2 legends of this great football club of ours, Mark Duffy and Kevin Gage. Quite often, Mark, we hear Gagey talk about the Duffy role, as he's termed it, number 10. Well, on Sunday, you filled the Gagey role. How was that, doing commentary and pre-game?
Well, to be honest, he makes it look easier than it actually is. Yeah, so, fair play to you.
There you go, Kevin. Easier than it actually is. It's a good drill, isn't it? Fair afternoon's work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's tough going. You think it's easy, but I think Mark, I can't do the Duffy role, so yeah. It works both ways. You see. Well,
I don't know. We saw you score the odd goal or two with some panache in your time. You had a bit of flair about you.
I had my moments. Yeah, I had
my moments. So Mark, back-to-back games with us here on SUTV Live. You delivered goals. Plenty on Sunday. We'd like at least one more though for the Blades tonight than the opponents.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I thought we played well on the other day, and we scored 2 good goals, and hopefully we can get a few tonight as well, and get that important win.
Well, of course, we're only into the 4th game of the season, but we can have a quick look at how Sheffield United have started with their recent form. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat from those 3 games. That 1 defeat at Watford, I think we can probably discard the League Cup. It's all about promotion this season. Kevin, what's your assessment of the way we've started?
Yeah, I think we've started okay, to be fair. I think the performances have been all right. Even though we lost to Watford, I mean, Watford will be right up there at the end of the season, won't they? And it was their first home game of the season, first game of the season. So they're expected to really push on, and they played quite well in that second half, and we were hanging on a bit. But Millwall 2 weeks ago, we were fantastic in that first half. It absolutely blew them away. So that could easily have been a bigger result than 2-0 suggests. And as Mark just said, against Middlesbrough, we were well in that game. And again, Middlesbrough will be one of the top 6 sides, I think, this season. So to get a result up there, I think we've done okay. I'd have took a point free game, definitely.
Yeah, Mark, what do you make of the first 3 games? Because I know opening night against Watford, you said, well, in my time here, promotion-winning seasons, we never won that opening game. It is only 3 games in, but when you compare it to the way we started 12 months ago as well, there are plenty of shoots of green grass there.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've started well, to be honest. The results probably haven't merited the performances. Obviously, Watford had a very tough team with the front 3 that they had. They can beat anyone on the day. And I believe the performance was really good against Middlesbrough the other day, and probably deserved the 3 points. They'll probably went away, looked at it and thought, look, we need to tidy up a little bit in the defensive duties, because I believe the goals were a little bit sloppy to give away, but I think overall he would have been happy with the performance.
Well, there's no time to dwell on it, because might be only halfway through August, but the games keep coming thick and fast, and just look at what's on the agenda now for the Blades over the next 5 games. 3 of them are going to be here looking forward, if you start with Blackburn this coming weekend, but then away at Luton at Kenilworth Road. We know from last year's experience, Kevin, how difficult a trip that can be. Then you've got Reading back here, away at Hull, and then that South Yorkshire derby against the Millers as well. They do keep piling one on top of each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of games in August. It's a crucial period, of course it is, and everybody wants to get a good start. And it's a terrible, terrible cliche. They say there's no easy games in the Championship. But I'll be honest, Blackburn have had a good start, but you look at Blackburn, Reading and Rotherham, and you're looking from a Blades point of view, you're thinking, do you know what, we should be winning 2, even 3 of those games. We should be looking for at least 7 points, and probably 9. And then we're good on our travels. We're a good, strong, solid unit away from home. There's no reason why we can't go to Luton and Hull and pick up points. So I think, all in all, I'm looking forward to the end of August, when I'd like to be looking at the position and thinking, we're well in that top 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's difficult this time, isn't it? Because you've got the World Cup in November in Qatar, Mark, and that's meant that the fixture list is very congested at the start of the season. As a player, are you happy about that? Because we hear how you like to feel your way into the season, having just come through pre-season, get match sharpness, or would you rather have a little bit more time to rest between games?
No, I'd probably prefer the games, to be honest. You know, they come thick and fast in the Championship, but when you get a run of fixtures like we've just seen, then sometimes you look at them and think, yeah, we can really do some damage, we can pick up some good points, and obviously with the break that will come, you know, you want to put yourself in a good position, and when you look at that block of games, what is coming up, I'm sure the lads will be looking at it thinking, right, we should be winning at least minimum 3 of them games, and then you pick up points away from home. I think it's a good month.
Well, it will be if we can get the results, that's for sure. I don't think the first break comes until the final week in September in terms of an international break in the domestic fixture list. Let's have a look at tonight's game then, and your starting 11 for Sheffield United as we get ready to take on Sunderland here at Bramall Lane. The 11 shows 2 changes from the team that started on Sunday against Middlesbrough. Rhian Brewster comes in for Billy Sharp, who left injured at half-time. And then there's a full debut in the league, at least, for James McAtee. I know, Kevin, you are somebody who's been very keen to see how he fits into this side and how he fits from the start.
Yes, I have. The question was always, where's he going to fit into the side? Because we think of him as a floating number 10 or an attacking player. But to be honest, you can't leave Njai out of the side, and we have to play with a centre forward. So where he was going to fit in. Now, the manager's made very big and a very brave call, I think, by basically replacing John Fleck this evening with James McAtee. So he's got some big boots to fill there, has James. I'm sure he's good enough. I'm sure he has the ability to do so, but he's really being thrust in at the deep end. But obviously, you know, he's a good quality player. We know what Pep Guardiola thinks of him, and he hasn't come here to sit on the bench. So Pep would have been saying to Hecky when he let him come, is he going to play? Because there's no point in him sitting on the bench. You have to play him if he's here. So it'll be a big baptism of fire for him. But I'm sure, and I hope he comes through.
Well, he plays from the start tonight. It's a big night for John Fleck as well, potentially. We'll focus on him a little bit later, but if he comes off the bench at any point, he'll be making his 250th appearance for Sheffield United in that famous red and white shirt. You played alongside him, Mark Duffy. It's quite an achievement to reach that 250th appearance, 250,000, do we say that? No, we'll stay with 250.
No, he's a brilliant player, and you know what a signing he's been. You know, ever since he's come to the club, he's been magnificent in every single season. And you know, he's probably not hit the heights that he was performing at. So obviously, sometimes coming off the team is good for people. You know, give him a little rest because, as I say, he's played a lot of football, and it might give him that little bit of hunger to come back in and prove his point, because he's a fantastic player, and I think he's only 30 still, so he's still got a lot in him. And as I say, it could just be a bit of rest in him tonight, so that he's a little bit more fresher.
Yeah, we always think, watching him over the years, we always think it takes time for Flecky to get into a season. Yeah. He's never at his best early season, but he just gets better and better as the season goes on. I don't know what it is with him. I think it just takes time to get into a role.
Yeah. It's nice to have that experience, that option as well, though, isn't it, to bring off the bench if you need it.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, I mean, if we're 2-3-0 up and McAtee's had a brilliant, 60 minutes or something, then yeah, take him out the firing line. He gets a massive round of applause from a full house of Blades fans, and you bring Flecky on just to shore things up. So let's hope we're in that position a bit later.
2 or 3 up with less than an hour gone. We'll take that. Yeah. Kevin Gage is in optimistic mood. Another man who's in optimistic mood starts tonight, returning to the starting lineup. We had a chance to catch up with Rhian Brewster just before we came on air. Rhian, thanks for taking the time to join us. The games keep coming thick and fast. You're back in the starting lineup this evening. How good does it feel to be fully fit and playing a full role now?
Yeah, it feels good, obviously the back end of the season, I was injured and stuff, and, watching from the stands is not always nice. You want to be involved and try and help the team, and, obviously this, obviously we had pre-season, and obviously when we was off, I was in trying to make a full recovery so I can be right for this season, and it's paid off, a little bit, because I'm back playing, but hopefully it can pay off a lot, and I can be back scoring the goals as well.
Yeah, we certainly all hope for that. Obviously, towing the company line, so to speak, would be you learn in that period when you're rehabbing and trying to get fit again. But what was it like for you? Are you a frustrated watcher?
Yeah, of course, you know, because then like you see results happening, and you're like, oh, I wish I could be involved, and you know, like we're winning games. We're like, of course, we were losing, lost a couple games as well, and you just think like, oh, I want to help the team, but you can't help from sitting in the stands, and you know, it was very frustrating. But of course, you know, you try and do the best you can for the team, and you try to help behind the scenes, you know, chatting to the boys and being there as well and supporting.
Yeah, for sure. And from what we've seen so far, you've certainly looked sharp at the start of this season, coming off the bench against Middlesbrough at the weekend. Before that, against Millwall, of course, you won the penalty. It didn't go our way for Ollie Norwood either. Was there an element of were you ever tempted to see if you could take that spot kick?
Yeah, of course, you know, as a striker, you want to take the pen, but of course, you know, Ollie was on pens that day, and you know, you got to respect that. And you know, of course, back in my mind, of course, I want to take the pen, but you know, he takes the ball, and you know, you just got to be there, hoping that he puts it in the back of the net. And of course, he didn't. But you know, I know Ollie, and I know that won't fear him. And you know, if there's another one or his game, like he will play the way he normally plays, and then it's very, very good.
Yeah, and ultimately, as long as the result goes your way, it really doesn't matter, does it? And it did on that occasion. What about Sunderland then tonight? Newly promoted back to the Championship. They've started pretty well, but you guys have done a good job of making Bramall Lane a fortress in recent times.
Yeah, of course, you know, that's what we try and do, you know. You know, any team that tries to come here, we try and make it as hard as possible, and like they have to come here and beat us in a proper way, and we will never let anybody come here and try and run all over us or anything. And you know, that's what we're gonna try to do. You know, we're gonna, of course, make it a fortress, hopefully for the rest of the season, and see how many games we can go unbeaten here.
Well, we're certainly hoping it's going to be a long and distinguished run. Go well tonight.
Oh,
thanks for your time, Rhian. Rhian Brewster talking to us there just before we came on air this evening on SUTV Live. Great to see him so upbeat as well after the injury troubles he's had to put up with in the first half of this year. But he's fit, he's back in the starting 11 tonight, and that was after coming off the bench at half-time in Sunday's 2-2 draw at Middlesbrough.
And we're underway once again in the Sky Bet Championship. Middlesbrough against the Blades. Here's John Fleck. Good start this from United. Sander Berge, he's into the area, gets the shot away. It's a fine finish.
That's a goal.
Sander Berge for United. Second goal of the campaign. Quick as a flash, out of his feet, drilled it into the bottom corner, and United have the lead on Teesside. Some grubbing off the ball here by Jones, in a great position now. Lovely ball into the area, and Akpom is there with a simple finish. Middlesbrough's first real attack of the game. It's a really well worked goal, and it goes, decent ball in, and it's in. The flag's up for offside. Norrington Davis on the outside of Jones here for United. He got back well and took him out. Is that a penalty? The referee looks. Had a really good view of it, Andre Mariner. Norrington Davis, and it goes from Norwood. It's a deep one, it had to be tipped over. Egan forward. Jin might come here for Rhian Brewster. Brewster round the goalkeeper, who just got out a claw to disrupt. Here's Max Lowe. Lowe into the area. Lowe will take it on. It breaks for Fleck. In goes the cross. Brewster! Fine save from Stefan. Tommy Doyle just in the background warming up behind Max Lowe. He's going to take this throw in. Giant, that's a disaster for Middlesbrough. It's an own goal. Hilleman and Jai put it into the 6-yard area. There wasn't really a white shirt anywhere near it, and it's smashed into his own goal, and Sheffield United retake the lead. It's come short, now it goes into the mix. Chance here, and it's headed in. It's that man again. Chuba Akpom found a bit of space in the area, got onto the second ball, and glanced it beyond Wes Fodringham. Full time then here at the Riverside. It's finished Middlesbrough 2, Sheffield United 2.
So it was honours even then at the Riverside on Sunday. Mark Duffy, you're alongside me. You're on commentary for that game. A point on the road is never to be sniffed at, but was it 2 points dropped?
Yeah, probably when you look back at the performance overall, and the goals that we conceded on the day, they were both 2 preventable goals. You know, Max Lowe's just ball watched a little bit, and then obviously they've slipped it in behind them, and then they've got in and scored, and then obviously the second goal is a set piece where we've just switched off. The floated one back post, and we've lost first and second contact. So when they look back at it as a whole, I think they'll be disappointed with the goals. But you know, as we just said then, you know, you probably will take a point on the road. It's a tough place to go, and Middlesbrough probably will be up there this season. So, yeah, so I say, for me though, it's probably 2 points dropped.
Gage, I've got to ask you about our second goal. Great work by Iliman Ndiaye down the left-hand flank, but Ryan Giles, what was he doing?
I'm not sure he knows. Complete panic mode, because there was no one around him. Actually, Brewster had pulled off really well for the cutback, but Ndiaye didn't see that and just tried to slide it across, hoping someone would be there, because there was no Sheffield United players there to put the ball in. So, yeah, I think he just rushed of blood to the head. We've all had them. Let's be fair.
Well, we won't delve too keenly back into your past. It's all about the future for you, Gage. Don't worry about that. We caught up with some of the Sheffield United players as well after the game. George Baldock, in particular, gave his thoughts on that 2-2 draw.
Today, I think, you know, it was a decent away performance. On another day, we win get the 3 points, and you know, like I said, it is going to be difficult away from home in this league. And I think we proved today that, you know, we've got that side to us, and like I said, on another day, hopefully we get more points. But, you know, we've got 2 games now at home, I believe, and you know, like I said, you know, they'll be really important, and you know how much the lads here love playing at Bramall Lane, and you know, the fans will get behind us, and hopefully a couple of positive results, and it will be looking a lot better.
New faces have come into the team. I wanted to ask you about Ahmed Odzic. What have you seen from him so far since he's come in? Because he looks like he's settled in well.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. Very, very good defender, natural defender, and I think you can see his quality on the ball as well. He's kind of the Basham mould in terms of, you know, he likes to drive forward with the ball, but he's also a very, very good defender. So, you know, he's been brilliant. Very mature head on his shoulders as well, for such a young guy, and you know, he's settled in really well, and a great acquisition by the club.
George Baldock pointing out there he's keen to get back to Bramall Lane, play in front of a passionate home crowd. He gets his wish tonight. We've got, just over 40 minutes to go to kick off. Middlesbrough's north-east neighbours, Sunderland, are the visitors this evening. They're sure to bring a fairly raucous travelling support as well. It should make for a great atmosphere. But for Paul Heckingbottom, he's only had 2 days to plan for this game, turn around from Sunday. So what were his reflections on that draw at Middlesbrough?
First and foremost, I enjoyed the game. I thought it had all sorts in it, and I've just said to the players there, when I enjoy the game, it usually means we've done well. I don't want to be on the back foot when we play away from home. I want to try and take teams on, and we did that today. I thought lots of energy, lots of effort, lots of tackles, good quality from both sides in patches. Yeah, but I'm disappointed we've lost the game, you know, from the position we got ourselves in. So, yeah, but I'm not going to be overly critical of players. Obviously, we're disappointed with the goals, and I've said we'll keep getting better. Of course we will. But in terms of how we want to play, the identity of the team and the mentality of the team, I thought it's how we want to play. First half, we didn't get enough shots away from the positions we got ourselves in. I felt Borough weren't a threat. They had 2 attempts on our goal. We scored with our first, and then we got in so many good positions, and either Andre Mariner stopped us, or we give the ball away ourselves. So, yeah, we wanted to be better than that second half. I thought we started the second half really well on the front foot, and when we went in front, I honestly thought we would go on to win it. But you know, you probably got to credit Middlesbrough there that they didn't lie down, and that's what made it an entertaining game.
So overall, the manager pretty happy with the performance at the Riverside, if not disappointed only to get a point out of that game on Sunday. What he will have been happy about, for sure, chaps, is the form of Rhian Brewster, because he came off the bench, replaced the skipper at half-time, Mark, and he looked lively.
Yeah, I thought he done brilliant. You know, nearly got in there, scored a goal, but I thought he competed really well for everything, worked his socks off, and yeah, it was really pleasing to see, to be honest.
The only thing he's missing really now is goals, isn't it?
Yeah, and that will come. You know, it's a great save. He's had a great header there from about 15 yards out, and the keeper's made a fantastic save. But you know, with Rhian, he is a goal scorer, and once he gets that goal, I'm sure there'll be plenty that come.
So if Rhian Brewster's in good form, what about the midfield maestro, Gagey, your 6'5", 14 stone, man mountain, Sander Berge? He's scoring goals, he's creating them. He's looking a class apart at the moment. The start of the season.
He's always been a class player. We knew that, didn't we? As soon as we set eyes on him, we thought, my word, he's got potential here, and he's finally beginning to realise his potential. I mean, he's literally unstoppable and unplayable when he's in this kind of mood, which is driving forward and getting on the ball and getting shots in and brushing people off as if they're... Somebody made a point on social media, he plays like an adult against 12-year-olds because he just seems to brush people aside. So strong on the ball. A real top quality player. Of course, the questions everybody is asking is, can we possibly hold on to him? We've got this release clause apparently in his contract. I believe it's £35 million. And the situation is, well, we have him until somebody meets that release clause. Now, let's hope from a Sheffield United point of view, it's months and months away. But, we don't see it all season, because if we can keep him playing the way he does, then we've got a great chance of being right up there in the death.
At the back end of last season, after a win here at Bramall Lane, we had him join us in the studio to talk about it. And he told us, if you remember on that occasion, that it was the moment he was pushed forward in that advanced midfield role that he really began to flourish and start playing with confidence. That's the way Hecky started with him this season, and defenders often don't seem to know quite how to deal with him, certainly whether they come deep to try and pick him up or stand off him. And if you stand off him, we've seen the power and pace that he has. Yeah,
I mean, he's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? Because we watch him and we want him to make those runs all the time, every time he gets the ball. And no player can do that. You have to pick your times. But, I mean, in that role, as I just mentioned a minute or two ago, I think he's unplayable because he's got so much pace as well. He's deceptively quick because he's not got quick feet, as they say. He's taking these big, long strides, but all he does, drops a shoulder, moves the ball away, and within 3-4 yards, he's gone. He's past you because he's also brushed you off with a big, strong arm. You can't get near him.
Mark, we can take a look at his past 17 games, and this has really been a difference in his form over the last 18 months for Sheffield United. He's scored 7 times, he's got 3 assists, 14 key passes in that time as well. You always played in a slightly withdrawn role when you were playing here. Yeah. That really is the production that, if you're manager of this team, you want, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, as Gage just mentioned with Sander, he's so big and powerful. Once he gets running at somebody, he's so hard to stop, and and he is deceptively quick. You just always want him to do that a little bit more, but obviously if he does do that a little bit more, well, then the 35 million price tag probably will be met by somebody, but hopefully we can keep hold of him because he is a real key player.
As a striker, if you've got somebody playing in a deeper role behind you that is causing havoc, creating those sort of opportunities, how much does it help your game?
Of course, yeah, the strikers will be licking their lips because they know when Sander gets the ball, they will come alive because they know something is possibly going to happen. Is he going to run at people? Is he going to make a clever pass? Because he is a key player, as you can see by the stats. So when he does get the ball, as I say, the strikers will all be coming alive because they know something's probably going to happen.
And as one of those other 9 outfield players on the pitch, if you see Sander get hold of the ball, you're more likely to make a run because there's a chance of it coming your way.
You can also leave him in space. You don't want to go and crowd him. If you see Sander on the ball in that right-hand channel, don't go near him. Try to move defenders away. Give him the space to take a defender on because damn well he's going to drift past him. Let him do that. Don't crowd him out.
You're always left wanting more. There was sometimes on Saturday when he got it in the middle of the park, he's got all the grass in front of him and he comes back and you're thinking, I just want you to run with the ball.
This is why we like him in this kind of a more advanced role. We've seen him in a deeper role, in a 2. Doesn't quite work. He's too little bit laboured on the ball. He doesn't move it around quickly like Norwood or Fleck or something. He likes a bit of time on the ball and he steadies himself and then he bursts forward.
Yeah. Well, certainly in this hectic schedule ahead for Sheffield United, Sander Berge's going to play a vital role, and the games do keep coming thick and fast because the Blades are back in action in 72 hours from now. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. kickoff. SUTV Live is back on air with you from 2 p.m. for the visit of Blackburn. And then, would you believe it, we have a week's respite for the players just to reflect on the start of the season before a tough-looking trip to Kenilworth Road. Friday night football, Gagey. We all know how difficult that trip potentially is.
Yes. That's a difficult one, isn't it? Luton did really, really well last season. Of course, they were the surprise team of the Championship. So it's always a tough place to play.
Yeah, it was their home form, wasn't it, that catapulted Luton into the playoffs. Ultimately, it could be a game where we see Sheffield United don their third strip. For those keen, avid viewers of Sheffield United's social media outlets this week, you'll have seen it unveiled at the start of the week. If you didn't, take a look at this. Nina Wilson, Iliman Njai, Ben Osborne and Ollie Norwood showing off the new third strip that Sheffield United will be donning this season. And if you like it, well, it's available to pre-order online right now. Right, let's take a look back into the annals of history, not too far back to the 17-18 Championship season when Sheffield United took on Sunderland. This is one you'll like, Mark Duffy.
Served on the balance of play.
Trust me, Mark, you would have liked it. You scored a brace as Sheffield United scored 3 on the day and took all 3 points. But it's consigned to the annals of history and we won't get to see it tonight. Let's take a look at the team news, starting with Sheffield United. If you are just joining us, they've made 2 changes to the starting lineup to take on Sunderland this evening. Rhian Brewster comes back into the starting 11 after replacing Billy Sharp, who left with an ankle injury on Sunday. And there is a full league debut in Blades colours for James McAtee. John Fleck might have to wait just a little bit longer to make his 250th club appearance, but Kevin Gage, Chris Basham's name appears on the bench.
Yes, the forgotten man, isn't he, kind of? But obviously, Anel Amhodic has come in and done so well. We're going to wonder whether there's a place for Chris Basham in the team. There was a possibility that he could have actually come back this evening, and because Anel Amhodic could have moved to the left-hand side of the centre-half role. But I think it's probably a little bit too early for Bash. I don't think he's played much football. So, you know, but good to see him back on the bench anyway.
I want to ask you about Rhys Norrington-Davies and his role, because he's playing on the left side of the 3. He's not the tallest man in the world, but he's quick and he's equipped himself pretty well in his 2 starts.
He's a very, very good defender. He's always been a good defender. He was a left back by trade, so he's got the defensive nous. Experimented with him in that left centre back role, and he's perfectly okay there. As you say, he's not the tallest in the world, but that's not massively important because you've got other big lads alongside you, so he doesn't have to win every header. But what he is good at doing is joining in with the play. He's got a lovely left foot, so he can just join in with the play, move the ball forward, and obviously join in with the attack because he's got the left back capability as well. So I think he's got a bit of a future there, to be honest.
Obviously, it means Max Lowe is playing a left wing back position, but you've got creativity in James McAtee as well. There seems to be a fluidity about this squad, if you like, Mark.
Yeah, and it gives the team good balance. You know, obviously if you play, you know, Howard on that side, you know, it's a right footer playing on the left hand side. The flow is not as good. And just going back to Rhys, you know, I was sitting here with Jack O'Connell, and we were massively impressed with Rhys. He was aggressive. He was on the front foot. He carried the ball well, and he got in the final third, and possibly could have had a penalty. So, you know, there's no one better to analyse that performance than, you know, Jack O'Connell, and he was certainly impressed with him.
We've got just under half an hour to kick off at Bramall Lane, so let's bring you the team news from the visitors. They've started this season undefeated in their opening 3 games. Some names there will look familiar to you, some might be a little bit new, shall we say, but Jack Clarke is one that certainly stands out to me because he burst onto the scene not too far away with Leeds United a couple of years ago, chaps, and then went for a big money move to Tottenham, which never worked out.
Yeah, when he burst onto the scene, he was a really good young player, and obviously he's gone to Tottenham, and obviously the squad that they've got, it's very hard to break into that. And sometimes, you need to come back down to, learn the game a little bit more and become more consistent in his performances. But obviously, he's a great talent, and that's one player who we will have to keep an eye on tonight.
You have to go back a few years to find his name in a Sheffield United shirt, Gagey, but Danny Bath, experienced big centre-half, did spend some time here, and obviously they value his experience up at Sunderland.
Yeah, you have to go that far back. I can't even remember him playing for us, to be honest. But but I'm not concerned about the front two, but we're going to have to make sure we watch them carefully, because Stewart is a natural-born goal scorer, isn't he? His 24 goals, I think, last season fired him into this division, got him promotion. And Ellis Sims signed from Everton, I think.
On loan from
Everton, obviously a quality player, Premiership quality player. So I think those two up front with Pritchard just behind, they're going to cause some problems to a lot of teams in this division.
Well, Everton obviously don't rate him quite highly enough at the moment because they've got no strikers. They've allowed him to go out on loan, Mark.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with you. But no,
he played well north of the border, though, on loan in Scotland for Hearts, I believe it was, last season.
Yeah, no, look, he's got a good physical presence, and I think he went to Blackpool as well on loan, and he done well there. He obviously scored a couple of goals, but again, a young player who's learning his trade, who's gone out on loan, who's trying to get the experience. But the other striker is obviously, he's more of a natural finisher, and one that we will have to keep an eye on is the front two.
Yeah, and Sunderland have had a really good start to the season. The results haven't done them justice, because they conceded a late equaliser to Coventry to only get a draw there. Saturday they were 2-0 up with 3 minutes to go, and ended up drawing 2-2, and the QPR keeper scored the goal, didn't he? In the 95th minute, something like that. So they could easily be sitting top of the league with 6 points here.
What do we make of Sunderland? Because I'll give our viewers a little bit of an insight. One of our backroom staff has a slight inclination, and he was shaking his head as you mentioned the goalkeeper scoring for QPR. But they're a big club. They've got a passionate fan base, and everyone in the northeast would tell you that it's a Premier League club in all but name.
And they'd be right to say that, wouldn't they? It's the original sleeping giant, isn't it? Very similar to what we went through. They spent 4 years in League One. We spent 5. Couldn't get out of it. Tried everything, didn't they? Finally got out of it. But you think, like, if they can get a bit of momentum going, they could end up in the Premiership in a couple of years' time. Very similar to what we achieved down here. Massive support. Huge 48,000 capacity stadium. They can regularly get well over 30,000 fans, and they even play in red and white stripes. I mean, the comparison.
What more do you want, Gage?
The comparisons just go on and on, don't
they? We saw the graphic flash up there. I wonder if we can have another look at it again. Sunderland's form to start the season. They had that defeat across the city to the team that we won't name on this show in the League Cup. But the rest of it, like you say, a draw against Coventry, the disappointment later on against QPR, but a gutsy character check really win down at Bristol City.
Yeah, I think the start of the season's been good. I watched them the opening game of the season against Coventry, and they were really impressive. Obviously Saturday winning 2-0, and they lose 2 late goals. That probably just comes down to a little bit of experience in the division. Having them older players like Danny Bath, I'm sure he'll be speaking to the younger players saying, look, you can't let a 2-0 lead slip with 5-10 minutes to go. You got to keep the ball a little bit more and sort of run the clock down, and that is something that they will learn as the season goes on.
And they've had to, like you say, Gagey, endure hard times. We can look at their form when they were in League One, and it was a case of so nearly so often before they finally clambered out of there through the playoffs last year.
Yeah, well, we all know how difficult it is to finally win any kind of playoff. We haven't won one ever, have we? So we know all about that. But yeah, we saw the TV programmes, didn't we? The trials and tribulations they've had behind the scenes. It's been a club in turmoil, to be honest, for quite a few years. But on the pitch, they seem to be getting things together. Decent manager in Alex Neil. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, hasn't he, with Norwich and other places. So yeah, I expect him to do reasonably well this season. Might be tough for them as a newly promoted side, coming to terms with the division, because it's a good quality division, let's be fair. But I think they'll do okay.
As we said, there might be a few unfamiliar names in their starting 11, but we can take a look at some of their key players now. We've already spoken briefly about Ellis Sims, but you look at some of those players. Jack Clark is on there, and Lyndon Gooch, he says right midfielder. I'm told he'll play probably wider on the right-hand side this evening to give them some width. Does the fact that there are some unfamiliar names there mixed with experience, Mark, work in their favour at the start of this season?
Yeah, I think that is what you do need. You need obviously the younger players with the inexperience who have got that, no fear in them, but you do need the older players with that experience. And obviously Saturday, they probably lacked the experience when they've let a 2-goal lead slip. But as the season goes on, they will get more confidence and they will gain that experience, which is vital in the Championship, just seeing games out and managing games. But they've got a lot of technical and exciting players there, as we've just looked at.
You talk often about the Duffy role as regards the way Sheffield United play. Gagey, for Sunderland tonight, that's Alex Pritchard, isn't it?
Yeah, experienced campaigner, has been around the block, he knows the role, so it'll be interesting to see how we deal with him, whether Norwood will pick him up at times or whether it'll be Egan coming out of the slot or what any of the defenders round him maybe. Whether he's going to float all around the pitch, not quite sure. Whether he's maybe away from home, he may be more of a midfield role than a
more disciplined role.
Number 10. Yeah, we just don't know how we're going to play out. But we see those players up there, but it's not about with the Sunderland players. It's about how we approach the game, and we have to play the Sheffield United way, get hold of the ball, knock the ball about, be confident on the ball, attack people at the right time, get Sander involved, get Illiman involved, get Brewster on the end of things, just put a proper Sheffield United performance on it in front of what's going to be a fantastic crowd and a great atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this game comes right in the middle of a whole string of games that come one after the other through the month of August. A reminder of what's to come over the coming days and weeks. Sheffield United back in action this Saturday afternoon. 2 p.m. SUTV Live goes on air for the home tie against Blackburn Rovers. And from there, we've got Friday night football. Sheffield United have the luxury of 6 days rest to prepare for the trip down to Kenilworth Road to take on last year's playoff team, Luton Town. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. SUTV Live is on air from 7 p.m. Right, well, a little while ago, we showed you the new third kit that Sheffield United unveiled a little bit earlier this week. Alongside that, they've got a new away kit as well. I know, Gage, you like this one. Take a peek at this. That's the new away kit. That is also available to pre-order now. If it's one that catches your eye, snap them up. They will be sure to go quickly. Right, well, it's a big night for a veteran in the midfield for the Blades this evening. He starts on the bench. John Fleck, if he makes an appearance from that bench, will be making his 250th appearance in a Sheffield United shirt. Mark Duffy's alongside me. You've played in the same team as Flecky. What does he bring the team?
He brings so much to the team, his creative ability, his technical ability, his tenacity on the off the ball. He's just an all-round tremendous player, and he's been such a good servant to the club. Obviously picked him up from a free from Coventry, and obviously playing against him when I always knew he was a great player. So obviously when I signed for the club, and then I was speaking to the gaffer, and he was saying we're close to doing Flecky, I was really excited because I knew his qualities. He possibly could score and assist a few more goals because I believe his quality is that good. He should really be doing similar to what Sanders doing, really be driving with the ball, because I think he's at his best when he gets it in that deep area, goes to play like a little pass, and then he just drives through the middle.
Did you like playing against him, or did you much rather have him on your team?
Yeah, definitely having him on my team, because he's got that nasty streak in him as well, where he'd kick you. But
surely not.
Yeah, but so many players need that. Do you know what I mean? And he's another one. He's got all the flair and all the great qualities, but he's also got that nasty streak in him, which is makes him a tremendous player.
Well, like we say, it'll be appearance number 250 for John Fleck if he comes off the bench tonight. So in an SUTV Live exclusive, we sent our own Matt Young to catch up with him, and it's a landmark that he's rightfully going to be proud of reaching.
Yeah, it's obviously quite a big number of appearances. It's not something I've really looked at, to be honest. I only found out yesterday, so yeah, it's a big number, and I'm happy with it.
That was my next question, really. I think we sat down here, did something for your 200th appearance, and now up to 250. You keep ticking these milestones off, but it's not something you really look at.
No, as I say, I don't think many players will look at that type of thing, but yeah, when it gets brought up to you, you realise it's quite a lot of games.
Lots of memories and high points, I'd imagine, in the past, but still time to make some more potentially for you here. Yeah,
there's always been some massive highs and some lows as well, and that's football, that's part of your journey in your career, so yeah, hopefully there's some more highs along the way.
The fact that you've stayed here so long and made so many appearances, what does that say about Sheffield United and how much it means to you?
Yeah, I've always had a great time here. I'm still obviously really enjoying it and playing under a good manager. So yeah, it's been a great time, and as I say, some lows along the way, but hopefully we can make some more highs.
Out of the current group, I think there's still Billy and Chris Basham in front of you, but there's a lot of players here who've been here a long time, who've made well over 150 appearances. Why do you think that is?
Obviously consistency throughout training, good attitude, day in, day out to obviously get picked for the team, and obviously have some injuries along the way, but staying fit for the majority of the time.
What have you made to the start of this season? It's a tough start in terms of the teams you've come up against. So how do you rate the points returned so far?
Yeah, it's been an okay start. Especially against Middlesbrough there, I think it was two teams obviously playing the same formation. Obviously they're starting to get used to Chris's ways, and they're good at playing that formation as well. So, but I think we'll just cancelling each other out for the majority.
And a point beforehand, you probably would have taken it, wouldn't you? But being in front twice, is there a little disappointment that you perhaps couldn't get the job done in the end?
Yeah, of course. Get into the game, you obviously want to go and win it. As you say, being in front, you obviously expect to go in and win the game. But I think when you look at the performance of both teams, I think the point was probably fair.
August is always a busy time, it's where the squad perhaps will come to the fore, especially with one or two injuries. You've seen plenty of Sheffield United squads over the years. How do you rate this current one?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously some young boys have come in on as well, and some young boys coming through the academy as well, getting their chance, and yeah, it's obviously good for them to sort of learn and be about the squad as much as possible. And yeah, we've got a good squad, and hopefully we can continue to improve.
You mentioned the young lads, a couple that have come on from Manchester City, James McAtee and Tommy Doyle. We haven't seen too much of them so far, but you've been in and around them in training. How good are they?
Yeah, they're obviously very good players. I think they're highly thought of at Man City as well, so that tells you something, I suppose. Yeah, they obviously need to get used to our ways, and they've not been here so long, so yeah, I'm sure they'll get their appearances.
Sunderland have had a good start to the season. They've come up from League One. What kind of challenge can we expect on Wednesday night?
Yeah, it'll be difficult. Obviously, I sort of know Alec from my time in Scotland, the manager there, and he always sets his teams up well. They'll be very hard to break down at times, and we just need to be wary of that.
And perhaps it'd be nice as well not playing in the intense heat. It's been a bit of a theme throughout August for you.
Yeah, hopefully get a bit of rain tomorrow, hopefully for me, but it's obviously nice to get the weather, but it's a bit too long to be playing football, to be honest.
John Fleck, 30 years young for another 7 days. At least I have to say that, because Mark Duffy's threatened to tell him I called him a veteran. Gage, 250 appearances is a fantastic landmark for any player at one club in this modern era. But you look down the years, League One, Championship, Premier League, so on. He has been a driving force in that entry, hasn't he?
He's been absolutely superb for Sheffield United, yeah. Real kind of terrier in midfield, you know. He's the perfect foil for Norwood. They make such a match in there, because Norwood's not the most aggressive player, let's be fair. So it's good to have someone in there who can put his foot in. But we must applaud his ability over the year, and Duff's picked up on it earlier. His driving runs forward and the way he drags the ball past people and bursts past them. And he's got a beautiful balance as well. It's always good to have a right-footed, left-footed midfield combo. So there's a lovely bit of balance in the centre midfield there.
And I'd like to point out as well, for criticism we're getting from Duffy for calling John a veteran, Mark, you were the one that said he didn't score goals. Well, he's scoring some goals there.
Well, I expect more from him, because he has so much quality. Like, you know, in training, he would just dominate training. You know, people couldn't get near him. He had so much class, and you'd try and press him, and he'd play quick 1-2s. And he's got that low sense of gravity, but he's so strong as well. So, honest to God, you can't get near him. So I always used to want more from him. But not only is he a brilliant player, he's a brilliant person as well.
And everybody, of course, will remember him, perhaps most notably for scoring that goal that secured promotion out of League One back into the Championship. Gage, you were telling us whilst we were watching that interview that you were actually in the crowd that day.
Oh yeah, I was in the crowd. Yeah, very close to invading the pitch, and thought better not of it. Not good look to be carted off by the local police, is it? But yeah, fantastic day, fantastic season. You know, that's where we really got the real best of John Fleck. But he achieved what he achieved in League One. He then took his performance to another level in the Championship, and then again in the Premiership. He just kept getting better and better and better.
And let's look at some of the highlights from his time at Sheffield United, some of the achievements that he's racked up over his time as a Blade. 249 games, 15 goals. You said, Mark, quite rightly, you might expect that to be a little bit higher. He's got assists as well. Notably, twice named Sheffield United's Player of the Year.
Yeah, as I say, he's been unbelievable. As I said, I expect more goals from him just because of his quality that he's got.
That's a compliment to him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, as you've seen some of his goals there, he can get into the box, he can shoot from distance, he's got a decent right foot. As I say, he's a brilliant player, and he's been voted, you know, Sheffield United Player of the Season twice. I think he's got in a PFA Team of the Year as well. He's been a fantastic player, and hopefully we have many more years out of him.
And we mentioned the skill he brings when he's on the pitch, but it's his leadership qualities as well, Gage.
Yeah, he's just a complete kind of midfield player, as I said. He brings everything to the team, the proper centre midfielder. I personally love the way we talk about Sander Berge dragging the ball away from people. Flecky's not going to use massively quick feet or lightning pace, but he drags the ball across his body. And again, the little low centre of gravity that you're talking about is like really difficult to knock off the ball, because he'll just be strong and he'll bustle his way past people, bursting through.
Yeah, it's so hard to stop, because he goes to play to the left, and if you go to read it, he drags it inside, and then he just goes away from you because of his low centre of gravity. If you block that off, he just plays quick 1-2s around you. So you think you can't stop it.
Drags it away from you. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So potentially a big night ahead then for John Fleck. Potentially a big evening as well for Ollie McBurnie, who's had his own injury issues to deal with at the start of this season. He made an appearance in the final 10 minutes off the bench at Middlesbrough at the weekend, and given that 2 of the opening 3 games this season for Sheffield United have been away from Bramall Lane, he told us yesterday ahead of this match that he's now looking forward to having several games at home.
Definitely, everyone knows how strong we are at Sheffield United. I think there's not much tougher places to go in the Championship than Bramall Lane. I know that being an opposition player and a home player here, I felt like the first year in the Prem especially, half the times we'd already got a result before we'd started the game when we were at home. Like I say, it's not an easy place to come, and we know how strong we are. So, 4 points after the 3 games. We felt a bit disappointed after the game on Saturday, but maybe before the game, we knew Middlesbrough's a tough place to go. They're going to be decent at home, I think, this year. I think they'll cause a few upsets. But now you say if we kick on and get 2 good results over the next two games at home, which we're more than capable of doing, it'll be a real good start to the season.
Is there a genuine belief with the squad that has been assembled already, and I know there's a couple of weeks of the transfer window left, that you can go one further than last year? Admittedly, injuries clearly played their part last year, but is there that belief that there's the quality there to take that next step?
Yeah, I think so. That's always our aim. Everyone knows that. I don't think that's a secret. With the squad that we have, we should be competing right up there at the top of the league. And the aim is of course to get promoted. But like you say, it's the 4th game of the season, so we're not getting ahead of ourselves. But we want to get that record, like we did last year under Hecky at home, to be a real tough place to come and to make it as hard for teams as possible to come.
Ollie McBurnie starts on the bench once again this evening. If he's fully fit, Kevin Gage, he has a big role to play this season in this squad, doesn't he?
Well, he has a role to play, yeah. We don't quite know how much of a role. It depends on, the likes of Brewster and Billy Sharp and how the formation we're going to play, because at the moment we're only playing with 1 striker, so... is it?
But
just,
you'd
just
want him
to
be pushing all of those.
Of course, everybody in the squad has to be pushing their immediate opposite number, for that position. So he has to he has to take part somewhere along the line. There has to be a role for him, even if that role is coming off the bench, with 20 minutes to go, causing a bit of havoc. But he's certainly got all the ability. We've seen that down here, not just for Sheffield United, when he's been playing for other clubs against us. So we know he's got it in the bag. We've just got to get the best out of him somehow.
Well, we are fast approaching kick-off. The atmosphere is ramping up behind us here at Bramall Lane. Kevin Gage, we're going to allow you to take your position in the commentary box, but not before you've told us how you see this one panning out.
I think we're in decent reign of form. We've started the season really well, and I think we'll put on another Millwall performance. I think we'll run out comfortable winners this evening.
I would love that. We would love that. Thank you very much for the time being, Kevin. Let's hear once again from the manager, Paul Heckingbottom, because he knows all about Sunderland. He knows how big a club Sunderland are, and this is his assessment of how they've gone under Alex Neil.
They look to be in as good a place as they've been for a while. Watching them play, they're playing with that excitement and energy that tends to come with a team that's been promoted, which makes them dangerous. And we have to be ready for that, I like that type of challenge, I think our players do, and I think it makes for, if they come with the same attitude and way of playing that they've started in the first 3 games, it'll make for a real good game tomorrow night.
They're different to a kind of usual, if that's a thing, a newly promoted side, really, due to the size of the club. Again, like Sheffield United, a team that spent a number of seasons down there, lots going off the pitch as well. There's an extra kind of buzz and excitement about them at them, isn't there, from their perspective?
Yeah, from theirs, yeah. I think they're 37,000 the last home game, so that's the size of the club. It is a good club, obviously I know it well. It's a good... they're mad about the football there and they're desperate for the team to do well. But all that's for them to worry about and deal with. It's absolutely irrelevant for us. We just know, like I say, that they're coming with the attitude of a team promoted, nothing to lose. Come on, let's go and take them on. That's what they're thinking to play us. So it's gonna, like I say, if they come with that attitude, it'll be a real good game.
So Paul Heckingbottom very much looking to be back on familiar ground, back on home soil here at Bramall Lane this evening. The only time we saw the Blades play at home in the early weeks of this season, they ran out comfortable 2-0 winners against Millwall. Mark Duffy, Sunderland have had a good start to life back in the Championship. How important is it that Sheffield United start fast and start well?
Yeah, definitely. It's always important when we play at home. I think we need to play the Sheffield United way, be on the front foot, be aggressive, high tempo, and really get after them, get the crowd involved. Once the crowd's involved here, it's one of the hardest places to go in the whole Football League. But that is how I believe and how I see the game.
Elliot Embleton and Dan Neil hold that midfield role in the centre of the pitch for Sunderland. Is that an area where we could perhaps get after them tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, they lack a little bit of experience in certain areas, and that is one area where they do, and I think we could really capitalise, especially in that middle zone. It's always an important area of the pitch, and I think if you come out on top, you will dominate the game and hopefully win.
Rhian Brewster's looked lively at the start of this season. We mentioned earlier that he hasn't found the back of the net yet, but how impressed are you with the way he's approached games so far? Yeah,
it's just his overall performances I've been really impressed with, especially on the weekend. He's come on, obviously disappointed after being left out, because obviously he'd done well the week before. But I was impressed. He challenged and competed for every ball, chased lost causes, and I just think once he gets that one goal, hopefully he'll go on a bit of a goal spree.
And if you're a striker, it's all about having a supply line. That Sheffield United would like to think would come from the 2 wing-backs, and in that aspect, it's a big night for Max Lowe, isn't he? He started at the weekend, he's been given the nod again tonight. This is an opportunity for him.
To be honest, I was impressed with Max as well, because he started the game a little bit sloppy, gave a few playing balls away. Obviously, their first goal was a little switch off from him, but the second half, he showed real character and showed his qualities, grew into the game, and it is a massive season for him, because obviously he can make that role his own.
It's going to be a good atmosphere, isn't it? We're looking at live pictures inside Bramall Lane. At that far end, that's the end occupied by the travelling support. They've sold out that lower section.
Yeah. Obviously, Sunderland, massive club. Always, get great following, home and away. But that adds to the atmosphere here at the Lane. It'll be an unbelievable night. And, but one I expect us to go out and win.
Did you find that helped you raise your game? I'm guessing a similar sort of stature club would have been Leeds United in that promotion-winning season for the Championship for you.
Yeah, you know, when you walk out in the tunnel and you hear the atmosphere, and you look right and see the Kop obviously full, and then you look left and you see the away end full. It just adds to the atmosphere, and you know, especially if you grab a goal in front of the away crowd, there's nothing better than running past them.
We can see the Sheffield United players led by skipper John Egan tonight, waiting to come out in the tunnel. We touched upon it earlier. Young James McAtee, 19 years old, on a season-long loan from Manchester City. It's his first start in the Championship for the Blades. Will there be nerves?
Possibly, yeah. You know, obviously the Championship's totally different to the Premier League, and he's only 19. He's got a lot of expectation. And he probably will have to, you know, learn a few of the dark arts of the Championship.
That's why Pep sent him out on loan, isn't it? Let's be honest.
That is why he sent him out on loan, is to get games and really learn what you need to be a top footballer. He's got all the technical abilities in the world, obviously, but there's other parts and aspects to being a top footballer.
Quickly then, how do you see this one going?
I am going 3-0 Blades.
3-0 Blades. Kevin Gage says he expects us to have a comfortable home win. Let's hope both Gage and Mark Duffy are right. The players are out on the field. Without further ado, let's hand you over to your commentary team in a moment. You'll hear once again from Kevin Gage, but first of all, it's your commentator, Matt Young.
Thanks, Richard. United hosting Sunderland in a league game for the first time since 2017 as Paul Heckingbottom's Blades begin the first of back-to-back home Championship games. The Black Cats are back in the second tier after a 4-year absence. They've started well, whilst United have also shown some positive signs as both look to press forward in the early stages of this campaign. In the first game under the lights at Bramall Lane this season, expect a raucous atmosphere as two sets of highly passionate supporters look to push their side to 3 points tonight. Kevin Gage alongside me. It's always a little bit extra, isn't it, when you play under the lights, but with the away support as it is, Sheffield United's fans, I'm sure, will come to the fore as well. Should be quite an atmosphere tonight.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Love games at Bramall Lane under the lights. I think it's a very, very special place, and I think the Sunderland fans are only going to enhance that. I think they've sold out their allocation, and I'm sure they're going to be very noisy, but we need to quieten the fans. We need to start in proper Sheffield United front foot fashion, and we need to, as I say, get on top. You know, quieten their fans, get our fans on their toes and shouting and screaming and roaring.